Hello class, this is just going to be a quick lecture which is going to give you an update on everything that happened in the Mississippi legislature in 2019 dealing with education. The first thing you'll notice if you logged into the Clarion Ledger or any of the major news websites in Mississippi is a discussion of a teacher strike. And you're like, wait, what happened? Why are we on strike, or why are we talking about going on strike when we just had a pay raise? So let's look at just a couple of the bills that were passed, and some of them that we don't even know, that many of us don't even realize passed. But let's look at some of these things. This article is from the Clarion Ledger, and it says that a state teacher organization is asking members if they're willing to participate in a one-day statewide sick out, or even more prolonged walkout in protest of the $1,500 pay raise. So what is the $1,500 pay raise? That was House Bill, let me see if I can find it. Well, it's Senate Bill 2770, which passed. It passed after being amended, and if you read it, this is the document that what it looks like. I'll put all of these online for you to look at as well if you want to. And what it really does is it takes the pay raise over a 2-year period. So as I scroll down to what I highlighted, it's right here. The first year will be $500. So when you become a school teacher, or when you are a school teacher, or when you get your new contract, you will get a pay raise based on the normal pay schedule so everyone's going to get a pay raise, but that entire pay scale will go up on every level $500 across the board. So it's not an extreme raise, but it is $500. The next year it'll be $1,000. So for example, the starting year teacher pay of $34,900 will be $35,400 next year, and then the year after it'll be $36,400. So everything's going up on every level, 500 this year, and then another 1,000 the next year. They do it over 2 years, really to absorb the cost, and it's going to be like $50 million, I believe, over the state budget. So as we look at this, it says right here that the MAE, the Mississippi Association of Educators, posted just a survey asking teachers what will they do because they're upset over the teacher pay raise not being what they recommended, which was $4,000. So they wanted a $4,000 pay raise, and we got a $1,500 pay raise. The MAE also is upset because the state of Mississippi put $2 million into what they're claiming is a school voucher program. And you can look at that as well. That's an additional argument they're making, and they're saying that teachers are getting less money, and but the state is sending money to a voucher system, and they don't like that. Well, here's the thing that interested me. State law prohibits the MAE from facilitating a strike. And I was like, wait a minute, it does? So I didn't know this. I was like, I always knew that there was a discussion about that teachers could not go on strike, but I was like, wait, what? There was? And I did some research on it, and I was like, I gotta figure this out. Well, it turns out in 1985, the state of Mississippi's teachers did go on strike, and they actually stopped working for a whole day. So in return for a pay raise, the state legislators also passed Mississippi Code 37-9-75, which said that teachers couldn't go on strike. And I was like, wait, what? That's true? Yes, in 1985, the state of Mississippi's teachers received a pay raise, which made them happy, but they also really didn't protest this additional law being passed, which said, let's look at the following. And it talks about strikes by teachers in the state of Mississippi. And it defines what a strike is. Of course, a strike is not going to work, or slow down, or withholding, or simple as that. It defines what a certified teacher is. And then it says, it is hereby declared that a strike, concerted work stoppage, or refusal to perform lawful duties within the state of Mississippi will be illegal. All right. No certified teacher, group of certified teachers, or teacher organization, like the MAE, shall promote, encourage, or participate in any strike against a public school district. So if you, as a certified teacher, try to promote a strike, you are breaking the law. No person exercising any authority, supervision, or direction over any certified teacher shall have the power to authorize, approve, or consent a strike. So that means no principal can tell you to go on strike. So not only can you, as a certified teacher, not promote or organize a strike, no organization can promote or organize a strike, and no boss can tell you to go on strike. All right. In the event of a strike against the public school, the local school governing board shall continue school operations as long as they can do it, and they will certify the names of any teacher who is striking to the Attorney General. So they're supposed to report who goes on strike. Any member of the local school governing board or public school administrator who violates the subsection shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, and they'll receive a $100 fine per day, or a lot. Chancery courts will determine the jurisdiction of parties. So it lines that out. If a certified teacher, a group of certified teachers, or a teacher organization is in violation of having the strike, I call it subsection 3, they will go to Chancery Court for a misdemeanor, and they will have a hearing, which they can receive an injunction. A teacher organization found to be contempt of court for violating an injunction shall have a fine of $20,000. So, what this means is, as a teacher, because we received a pay raise in 1985 and allowed this law to pass, teachers cannot go on strike. A certified teacher cannot go on strike. An organization cannot promote a strike. A certified teacher cannot promote a strike. That would be received. So if you're a certified teacher and you start getting on Facebook saying let's go on strike, you could technically receive a $250 fine from Chancery Court. That's impressive. Simple as that. I did not know that. So that's what this article keeps talking about. State law prohibits the MAE. Of course, the MAE, which is a teacher organization, from facilitating a strike. They'll receive a $20,000 fine. Oh, okay. And it says that in the MAE is discussing should they go on a strike, even though they're not organizing it. They just put a survey out there, but they're really wanting the teachers, and they're upset because Governor Bryant is going to sign. It says starting teacher pay to instead of a $4,000 increase, he's only going to give a $1,500 increase. So that's what this discussion on the strike is. And the reason is the MAE put a poll out, a survey out, asking teachers if they were upset and what they were planning on doing about it. Not saying let's go on strike, just asking them if they wanted to go on strike. So technically the MAE is not breaking the law by asking, but they're getting close to that facilitating, which they may end up getting an injunction in Chancery Court in Hinds County over. So that's what the teacher strike is discussing. The next thing I want to discuss, which is something that is very small that no one really knows about, and that is personal leave and sick leave. The Mississippi State Governor has signed into law House Bill 572, which states that it's going to modify our sick leave, personal leave a little bit. Many of us didn't know this even existed until you actually start working. One of the big hang-ups is if you're teaching at a school, you're not allowed to take a sick leave or personal leave, usually on the day before a holiday, the day after a holiday, or the first day and last day of school. And many times school districts will tell you if you take a day off after a holiday, it counts as 2 days off. And that's because they're punished. They don't want people to take off multiple long holidays. Well, the state of Mississippi has modified that to a small extent. And there's actually a law based on this. That's Mississippi 37-7-307, which actually deals with state employees and school teachers, educators leave. One thing it says that you should always receive 7 days for absences caused by illness. Some schools allow more than that, but everyone should get 7 days. And you should read this. It gives you your whole rules on this one. For example, if you don't use your 7 sick days they can roll over to the next year. And also, if you change jobs, they will be credited towards your retirement. And for the first 10 days of absences, so you may want to read this. It talks about your legal liability for absences. The big change right here is personal leave may be taken on the first day of the school term, the last day of the school term, or on a day previous to a holiday if an immediate family member of the employee is being deployed for military service. Well, that was law. Another one says personal leave may be taken on a day previous to a holiday or a day after a holiday if the person has a minimum of 10 years experience. All right, so that's a big thing. The big change is right here. This is the change into the law. Personal leave may be taken on the first or last day if there is a death in the family of an immediate family member or the employee dies on funeral services are held. Any day of the 3 bereavement days may be used at the discretion of the teacher. So they're going to add the funeral clause to that. So that's what they're doing. And they also defined immediate family as spouse, parent, step-parent, child or stepchild, grandparent, including a stepbrother or stepsister. So apparently there was people complaining that they were not being allowed to take days off the first day of school due to deaths. And this has been modified or changed. It's a very realistic rule or change because I'm sure people need to take those days off, but school districts are not wanting people to take the first or last day off as an extended holiday. So there's that right there. So just a clarification, there must have been a need for it. The next law that was changed was House Bill 677. This one is big and no one really knew it existed. And one thing was, it's about school buses. As you know, school buses stop, they put out a stop sign, and people cannot pass the school bus. Well, we've had several accidents involving death of a child. One in Pontotoc, I believe, and one definitely I know about in Baldwin or Pratt's area, where a child has been hit and killed due to a car passing the school bus. They have now clarified this law, which really needed clarification because it had some issues. One thing was, in the old law, the bus driver had to be the witness against someone passing a school bus. They have now modified that law, and they're saying that any person driving a vehicle or standing on the side of the road who sees someone pass a school bus can report it and be the witness. So no longer does the school bus driver have to be the sole witness. You might think, well, that's trivial, but that's big because many times the school bus driver would say, well, I didn't see the tag. And they'd say, well, you didn't see it. So now anyone can see it. The second thing is it allows a clearer definition of blocking the road. So what does that mean? Well, when a school bus driver parks his car in the middle of the road to block the lanes, that is now legal. So if you have a 2-lane street, one going one way, one way to go another one, the school bus driver can park his bus in the middle of both lanes and block basically the entire road to prevent someone from passing as they're letting the child out or picking the child up. Also, they can do this on the bypass. They can block both lanes. This turns out it wasn't legal for them to do that. Many bus drivers were blocking the lanes to try to prevent people from passing them, and people were saying, well, that's not legal, you can't do that. Now they're clarifying and saying, yes, a bus driver actually should block the road so no one can pass. This is very important, and if I was a bus driver, I would start doing this. It's going to force people who want to pass the bus driver to go off the road into the ditch, and the people are not going to do that. In the old ways, parking in that right lane and having that open left lane, someone's going to be more easy to pass that. They're going to pass it very fast too. It's also going to slow people down. If you park your bus in the middle of the road, the only way they're going to pass you is to go onto the gravel, and that's going to slow them down. The child who died in Pratt's was hit by a car going in excess of 50 miles an hour. So we definitely are seeing that this is a new modification of the law, that this right here is big, and I actually believe this is for the safety of the child. By blocking both lanes, people who are wanting to pass a school bus driver are actually going to put their car at risk of fishtailing and going into the gravel by going off the road. If I was a bus driver, to this day, after this law has been passed, I'll be blocking the road fully to let my children out. So that's a new law that's been passed. The last law we'll be talking about, which you will definitely see an impact on, is the school safety new law, which is a brand new law, and it's actually going to be called the School Safety Act of 2019. It's a little bit in depth. You can read this, but what it's going to basically do is within the first 2 months of your school, you will have to have an active shooter drill. So you're going to start seeing students, schools participating in after-school drills. This was a compromise. Some Republicans wanted to have a new law that allowed teachers to concealed carry. So that was not passed. But they are going to do an active school shooter drill from now on. Maybe this will be in the future. They may come back with this concealed carry. That's up to the legislators. But this year we definitely see a new law says that we're going to have shooter drills. Also, employees are going to have to complete a training or professional development on mental health every 2 years. So you're going to see that coming as well. We're going to raise the statewide awareness regarding to see something, say something. That's another thing. Also, principals and teachers are developing and conducting an active shooter drill within the first 60 days, looking at this law. Also, they're going to encourage video surveillance cameras. They're going to start pilot testing videos in classrooms for 3 schools to see if they can do that financially. It's a very interesting law. And the State Department of Education is also going to have a toll-free incoming wide area telephone service to report suspected crimes in some areas. So this is very interesting, this law is. So think about this. But if I'm a new teacher or I'm a teacher signing my contract for next year, you're going to hear this, and now you know where this is coming from. So our state legislators have passed several laws. These are the ones I pulled up, and I thought this is going to be interesting. We got to talk about this. So next year when you hear active shooter drill, you know what's going on with that. When you hear a school bus driver say, I parked my car in the middle of the road, now you know legally you can do that. When you start hearing strike, people talking about that, you know where that's coming from. And you also know legally you cannot advocate a strike, and that's not good. And now you know the rules defining the new personal leave. And I would study the personal leave one, because I don't think many schools are going to advertise those, because that's going to actually allow more people to take personal leave on some holidays. So that's just a quick little lecture I wanted to give everybody so they understand, and we'll have a discussion board topic on which one you think is the most important. And so just look at your discussion board. Just wanted to give you a heads up on the new laws. Thank you.